everyone, today's podcast is on IFRS 9 financial instrument. This is a complicated and a very long standard, so I will be dividing the podcast in multiple parts, so do make sure you watch all of them. Now, beginning with the definition of financial instrument, a financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to a financial asset of one entity and a financial liability or equity of another entity. Financial liability of one entity and financial liability or equity instrument of another entity. Now, what is financial asset and what is a financial liability and what is equity instrument? Financial asset is any asset that is cash, an equity instrument of another entity, a contractual right to receive cash or another financial asset from another entity, a contractual right to exchange financial instrument with another entity under the conditions that are potentially favorable to the entity, means derivative in a favorable condition, and a non-derivative contract for which entity is or may be obliged to receive a variable number of entity owned share instrument. So, financial asset is an equity instrument. Financial asset is cash, contractual right to receive cash or other financial asset, contractual favorable derivative, and a non-derivative contract in which entity is or may be obliged to receive a variable number of entities own equity. So, what is financial liability? Financial liability is a contractual obligation to deliver cash or another financial asset to another entity, a contractual obligation to exchange financial instrument with another entity under the condition that are potentially unfavorable, means unfavorable derivative, and a non-derivative contract for which entity is or may be obliged to deliver. Previously, we were receive a variable number. Now, deliver a variable number of entities own equity instrument. Variable number of shares against fixed cash. So, this is financial liability. And what is equity instrument? Equity instrument is any contract that evidence a residual interest in the assets of an entity after deducting all of its liability. Equity instrument is the residual interest in the assets of entity after deducting liability, because asset minus liability is equity. To summarize this, financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to a financial asset to one entity, a financial liability or equity instrument of another entity. A financial asset is a cash or any equity instrument of another entity, contractual right to receive for cash or other financial asset, favorable derivatives, non-derivative contract in which we will be receiving variable number of own equity instrument against fixed cash, and a financial liability is opposite of it, a contractual obligation to deliver cash or other financial asset, unfavorable derivatives, and a non-derivative contract in which we have to deliver our own variable number of shares against fixed cash. An equity instrument is a residual interest in the assets of a company after deducting its liability. There are circumstances when assets and liability are offset in a very limited circumstances. These circumstances, the net amount is only reported. The circumstances when an entity has legally enforceable right to offset the amount or intend to settle on a net basis, or realize the asset and settle the liability simultaneously. Now, investor perspective. The classification of financial instrument either as liability or equity will have a major impact on the financial statement, thus affecting investor perception of an entity's financial performance position. First, if an entity issue an instrument and classify it as a liability, then gearing will rise. Equity entity issue instrument classified as a liability, gearing will rise. Entity will appear more risky to the potential investor. The servicing of finance will be charged through statement of profit and loss, reducing the profit and earning per share. Whereas entity issue instrument and classified as equity, then gearing will fall. The servicing of finance will be charged directly to retained earning and so will not affect profit or earning per share. In order to ensure that the instrument is faithfully represented in the financial statement, the director need to apply the principles of IAS 32 to the substance of the arrangement. This is the substance. Initial recognition of financial assets. IFRS 9 have given the recognition when entity becomes party to the contractual provision of instrument. In order to simplify this, initially recognized when become part of contract. Examples of principle are as follow. For example, a trading commitment to buy or sell the goods is not recognized unless one party has fulfilled its part of the contract. For example, a sales order will not be recognized as revenue and a receivable until the goods have been delivered. Forward contracts are accounted for derivatives, financial assets, and are recognized on the commitment date, not on the date when the items in the contract is transferred from the buyer to the seller, from the seller to the buyer. Option contracts are accounted as derivative financial assets and recognized on the date contract is entered into, not the date when the items of the option is acquired. Now, moving to the next topic is accounting for investment in equity instruments. It is fair value through P&L and fair value through other comprehensive income. Classification. Investment in equity instruments such as investment in ordinary shares of another entity are measured either at fair value through profit or loss or fair value through other comprehensive income. Fair value through profit and loss. The normal expectation is that equity instrument will have the designation of fair value through profit and loss. Fair value through other comprehensive income. Fair value through other comprehensive income. It is possible to designate an equity instrument as fair value through other comprehensive income provided the following conditions are complied with. First condition is equity instrument must not be held for trading. Means it should be a long term, not held for trading. The second condition is there must be an irrevocable election for the choice of this designation upon the initial recognition of asset. Means two conditions, not held for trading, and the second condition is irrevocable election upon the designation of initial recognition. Measurement. This is classification. And now the measurement. Fair value through profit or loss. Investment in equity instrument that are classified as fair value through profit and loss are initially recognized at fair value. Transaction cost are expense to statement of profit and loss. To profit and loss. At the reporting date, the asset is revalued to fair value with the gain or loss recorded in statement of profit and loss. And fair value through other comprehensive income. Investment in equity instruments that are classified as fair value through other comprehensive income are initially recognized at fair value plus transaction cost. Plus fair value, initially recognized as fair value plus the transaction cost. At reporting date, the asset is revalued to fair value with gain or loss recorded in other comprehensive income. The gain or loss will not be reclassified to profit and loss in the future periods. Now, firstly, I'm going to clear what is the treatment of transaction cost. If the financial asset is measured at fair value through profit or loss, then transaction cost is immediately charged in P&L, statement of profit and loss. if financial asset is measured at fair value through OCI, then transaction cost is initially capitalized with financial asset and subsequently become part of other comprehensive income. And the third method is average cost method, initially capitalized and subsequently amortized over the period. Financial assets, investment in debt instruments. Investment in debts are there of two types. Marketable in reality, investment in debts are two types: marketable debts, non-marketable debts. Marketable debts include bonds, debentures, loan stocks, convertible debts, or any sort of debt. Non-marketable debt means that cannot be transferred between the market participants easily, and that is bank loan. So marketable debts can be measured using fair value method or amortized cost method, and non-marketable debt by default are measured using amortized cost method because for non-marketable debts there is no fair value. So financial assets are debt instrument that can be measured using fair value through other comprehensive income, fair value through profit and loss, and amortized cost. The amortized cost method, in which amortized cost method IFRS says that investment in debt instrument can be measured at amortized cost if entity's business model is to collect assets contractual cash flow. Means contractual cash flow characteristics should only be cash, not other forms of contractual terms. And second condition is hold instrument till maturity or redemption, and this means not plan on selling the asset prior to maturity but rather than intend to hold until redemption. The business model is to collect the asset contractual cash flow. And second term is the contractual terms of the financial asset give rise to cash flows that are solely payment of principal and interest on the principal amount outstanding. Investment in debts measured at fair value through other comprehensive income, OCI. An entity may sell investment if the opportunity with the higher return arises. So this is the business model. Contractual cash flows are only cash. Profit and loss will be reclassified to P&L when asset is disposed. An investment in debt instrument is measured at fair value through OCI if entity's business model involve both collecting the contractual cash flow and selling the financial asset. This means that sales will be more frequent than the debt instrument held at amortized cost. For instance, entity may sell investment if the possibility of buying another investment with a higher return arises. The contractual terms of financial asset give rise to cash flow that are solely the payments of principal and interest on the principal amount outstanding. Fair value through profit and loss. Investment in debt instrument is not measured at amortized cost or fair value through other comprehensive income will be measured according to IFRS 9 fair value through profit and loss. Means if debt instruments are not measured at amortized cost or fair value through OCI is measured fair value through P&L. So convertible bonds never qualify for amortized cost method. Why? Because there is other option to get the share. Means contractual cash flows are means simply can say that contractual terms of financial asset give rise to cash flows that are solely the payment of interest or principal is changed. Now they have the option to buy the shares or get the cash. So they are always measured at fair value through P&L. In order to use the amortized cost method, there are two tests conducted prior: business model test and cash flow characteristics test. two tests, the business model. First one, the business model test, is the intention test and observation from the past behavior. The auditor is going to ask the entity or ask the management that what is their intention. Are they intent to hold the investment till maturity or redemption and collect all the contractual cash flow? And the second condition is cash flow characteristic, means the return characteristic should only be the cash, interest and principal amount. This is going to be verified by looking at the investment certificates or investment contract. So another important part of this, effective interest rate. There is a term, effective interest rate is calculated. This will be discussed later in this topic. But effective interest rate include interest income, discount, premium and transaction cost. There are four things that are included in effective interest rate: interest income, premium, discount and transaction cost. There are interest is the part of investment in debts. Discount, there are times when an investment in debts, for example a bond of $100 is issued for 90, so this is a discount. Premium is the amount you are going to get at redemption. For example, $100 bond is you are going to get it back for 110. And the transaction cost is simply the transaction cost. And now, financial assets reclassification. If an entity changes business model for managing the financial asset, all effects financial assets are classified. Example, from fair value through profit and loss to amortized cost. This only applies in investment in debts. Why? Because investment in shares, if you are choosing OCI, it is irrevocable election, but in investment debts you can switch from fair value model to amortized cost method. So this happens only in investment in debts. Now measurement, there is a thing, measurement difference, measurement difference when you are using amortized cost method, when you are using fair value through profit and loss, and when you are using fair value through other comprehensive income. Amortized cost method for investment in debts that are measured at amortized cost, as it is initially recognized at fair value plus the transaction cost, and subsequently the transaction cost become part of initially capital and subsequently amortized over the period. Interest income is calculated using effective interest rate. And if you are using fair value through other comprehensive income, the asset is initially recognized at fair value. Initially financial asset is initially capitalized with the transaction cost and subsequently become part of other comprehensive income. The asset is initially recognized at fair value plus transaction cost. Interest income is calculated using effective interest rate. At the reporting date, the asset will be revalued to the fair value with the gain or loss recognized in other comprehensive income. This will be reclassified to profit and loss when asset is disposed. And lastly, fair value through profit and loss. Investment in debts are measured fair value through profit and loss. Asset is initially recognized at fair value with any transaction cost expense to statement of profit loss. At reporting date, asset will be revalued with the gain or loss recognized in statement of profit loss. And investment measured at fair value through profit and loss. Interest income is calculated using coupon rate. To summarize this, the transaction cost in case of fair value through P&L immediately charged to P&L. In case of OCI, initially capitalized and later become part of other comprehensive income. Amortized cost method, initially capitalized and subsequently amortized over the period. And for interest income investment in debts fair value through P&L, we use coupon rate to calculate interest income, but for fair value through OCI and amortized cost method, we use effective interest rate. So when we are going to calculate the value of the bond, we are going to calculate it by bond nominal value minus the discount we are getting, and we are going to add the transaction cost, and the net amount will be the bond value for calculation.